Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Michael D, and I'm just coming to you today and talk to you a little bit about relationships. Don't laugh at the headset. It's about the quarantine, and I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. My wife is in the other room recording, so that's why I got it on today. Anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about relationships. I know it's such a broad topic, and I'm not going to conquer all of the different aspects of it today, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about just why it's on me today. I just see a lot of times in our nation, in our churches, and things like that, even in our world, the differences that we have, differences of opinion and stuff, lead to the falling out of people or races and things like that. And I think it's just really a ploy of the enemy to like keep us separated, especially here in the United States when it talks about the Bible talks about um, basically a house divided will not stand. And in order to get things done and move forward, we have to come together. I especially don't see that in our political parties or anything like that. It's like they don't come together to work for the good of the people for real. We have our agendas and things like that. This is not a political message. This is a message about relationship. And I think relationships are just key for every aspect of our life, even if you're doing business. Not saying you gotta hang out with people or kick it with them and things like that, but in order to do business, people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. As I heard one of my mentors said. Um, so if I can't trust you, I'm probably not going to do business with you. Now I can see that I may be able to get paid and get money by you, but if I don't trust you, it seemed kind of hard. And so that's the thing. That's why I want to talk about relationships, how we need to have those hard conversations. A lot of times we just go based on our own opinions or a suspicion about things. Like if I think, hey, these people don't like me, this or whatever, like I may go into a situation and everything they say, I'm gonna skew it to that viewpoint instead of having those hard conversations or just even thinking the best of the other people. Sometimes it's like we want to be given all the grace or leniency or mercy, I should say, mercy in things that we do. Like if we wrong somebody, we want them to forgive us and to know our hearts. But if somebody else wronged us, we have an opinion and we know for sure that they did it on purpose and they should have known this um, about me. I known them for 10 years and then everybody knows this or whatever. We go with that opinion, but we never consider, hey, maybe they just didn't know. I mean, even if they did know, maybe it wasn't on purpose or something like that. And we don't do that. And another thing, we don't apologize. I think it's crucial in relationship that this a big thing. It takes a big man, a big woman to say, "Hey, I'm sorry," and leave it at that. Don't just be like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't say this." Well, I'm sorry, but if you would have did, no, just say I'm sorry. Because just admit when you're wrong and move on. To me, when you apologize and have the buts, it kind of cancels out your apology. And my thing is like, it's not just, are you sorry, but do you realize what is done? And are you taking actions to change or taking steps to change those actions so that it won't happen again? Um, in the Bible, it talks about how many times should we forgive people? 70 times seven. And I think that just means as long as we're willing to work on it, not continue to do that same thing. If I know something hurts you or it makes you mad or things like that, I'm not going to do that on purpose. I had times in the past, you may want to be petty and get on somebody or I know you don't like this, so I'm gonna get you back and do that. I'm not like that. It takes too much energy to get to carry that stuff. So if I know it's going to offend you, I most times won't do it. Not unless it's something I have to say. That's another thing about relationship. We can't dictate and control everything that somebody says about us, everything that people think about us, let alone you don't even know every thought that people have for you. So how is it that we take so much ownership over our belief that somebody thought of something of us? We are not inside their head. Not unless God has given us a revelation or something or a dream or a vision about it, we really don't know. And so that's where those things that kind of divides people. And I just see that a lot in society. Recently, we just moved from Michigan down to Georgia, and where I'm from, the area I'm from, blacks and Latinos, like we are pretty good. We're like brothers and things like that. Here in the area, it's a little different, and I think it's because maybe it's a language barrier or things like that. But we're just so used to being in our own groups of people or just thinking alike or sounding alike that we don't relate with other people or see that commonality. Me, I see the commonality, the other thing. Both those cultures that I mentioned have strong, um, generally strong family oriented or strong family relationships and tend to be more religious or God focused on things. So those are things that kind of bring us together. But those are some of the things that's beyond the surface that people don't look at all the time. And I think that's a gifting that I have too. And I think it's very important in relationship is to kind of look deeper of things, talk about things and look deeper into things. So in relationship and having good, fruitful relationship, one, you got to communicate. And this is beyond talking, but like talking and seeking to be heard or seeking to understand. That's the thing, really understand. Not necessarily agreeing with somebody's point, but do you understand where they're coming from? And you choose whether that's something that, like if we have a conversation or I say to you something, or if I say, hey, bruh, something like that, you're like, hey, Mike, I really don't like you calling me bro because you're not my brother, and I don't like you saying that. So could you please say something else? I'll change it up like, how are you? Name them by name, say it, but and get an understanding of that. But those are some of the boundaries that you need to have too. Like in relationship, there's that communication, and two, there's boundaries that we have, and respect the boundaries because we all have our own boundaries. Like I said, this is a broad topic, and I'll talk a little bit more about this later. I'm just kind of giving a precursor on what's on my heart right now to share about relationships. And hopefully that this helps somebody in either maintaining that relationship or establishing a relationship. And oh, that's another thing, fear. We need to come against like get rid of fear because a lot of times we're so afraid of rejection that we don't have those hard conversations with people. If I have in my mind that somebody doesn't like me and it's like I don't want to go up to them and say that or ask them about that because I don't want them to deny it and then I look stupid. We look foolish for saying it. It's like, oh, they're not going to admit it. I mean, even if we've all had times that we just know based on things that has been done to us that that person has, they just don't really care for us. But we're not going to go up to them and ask why because we don't want to look stupid about it or anything like that. I'm a little different. I'm going to go up there and ask why. Only reason I do that because it really gets on me because to me in my mind I haven't done anything for the person to be upset with me or well, let me take it back. We do make mistakes, so they could be upset, but for them just not like me. I've had people that I got a sense of, they just not like me from the get-go. And I'm like, what have I done? And I'm the kind of person that wants to know what it is. Only reason why is not so much that I care about what they think of me. I don't want to be a stumbling block for somebody. And then I need to know so I know what things to do. Do I need to stand clear or if certain compliments that I'm making does it look like I'm just being facetious or something like that. So I need to know because I've had people like that. They come up to me like, well, I don't like you, and I don't know why you would say good morning to me and all that. And I was like, I was saying good morning because I'm treating you just like everybody else. I'm saying good morning to you. I did not know that was a big issue to you. Had I known, I would have done it. Um, and that's another thing too. Just really understand a relationship. We are not perfect by any means. I mean, I'm full of flaws, and so for me to not offend somebody or or like go beyond their boundaries that I don't know about, like it's impossible. I'm human and I don't know everybody. I'm not God. I don't know their mind and their thoughts about stuff, and I could just be me. And so that's the thing that happens in relationships too. You just got to understand that everything is not done purposely to attack you, and things like that. I see this a lot in churches and just we think. the pastor then said something or whatever, they're talking about us. I know because it came across in the sermon. A lot of times, unless they're just immature and preaching and things like that, a lot of times they don't even know. It's something the Lord gave them. It's something. It's really conviction. And I'm getting all into another topic about conviction and condemnation, but a lot of times it's just our suspicion and fear. So don't let fear stop you from developing great relationships. Every person is a different person. Take that time to communicate with that person. See the things that they like or don't like. See how they talk and don't talk, or the things um just different ways they deliver a message. Two, understand the boundaries. Know what you cannot say or can't say, whether to have certain conversations in public or not. I'm a kind of person, a private person, so like if I've offended you, don't come in front of the whole room and tell them that I've offended you. Pull me aside so we could talk about it. Because yeah, that's just better for me that we could deal with that or whatever. I don't I try to do that myself too. Anything that I say about a person, whether it's good or bad, well, I guess especially if it's something like criticism or things like that, but anything that I say about a person behind them, I want to be able to say to them. I don't want anybody else to communicate or miscommunicate what I had to say. And so I generally try to just get a grips on what I say. I've had some people that is just extremely difficult to talk to because of boundaries, and I mean not just boundaries, but like barriers that they have set up that I just been fighting to get through. And so I may vent and things like that, but I don't even feel comfortable in the venting if I can't talk to that person. So it's like if I can't say this to the person, I'm not saying it to anybody. Um, that's just the way I am, and out of respect of relationships and things like that. That's why I do that. And maybe that's why I have great relationships. I know I have work to do in a lot of my relationships with people, but I think me thinking less of myself and more of the other person. As the Bible talks about that too, that we should be, I worship and minister grace to the hearers. So the things that I'm saying, I'm not always just I don't overreact about, well, they're not gonna like this, so I'm not gonna say it. Some things I can't help. They just may be offended, especially people that you know and that you love. If you love them, you don't want to see them going the wrong directions. Matter of fact, hey, if any of my friends or people listening to me now, hey, tell me out of love. You don't like this podcast or you don't like this video I got or whatever, tell me out of love. But I just need to know that you're coming from the right angle. That's my boundary now. Don't you step past it. That's my boundary. Okay. But anyway, I'm just talking to you a little bit about relationships today, and that's all I'm gonna take for today. It's already a little long. We're going about 13 minutes here, and I just want to just reiterate that in order to have fruitful relationships, and we'll talk about that next time, you got to be confident in yourself. Know who you are. Be able to communicate things you like or dislikes to that particular relationship or friendship. And also respect the boundaries of that person and don't let fear keep you from exploring other relationships or getting deeper with people because you're going to get hurt in some way, shape, or form. We're all human. We don't mean to do things. So just take that risk. If you want to get any kind of deeper relationships with people, it's going to hurt. Not necessarily real painful, but you got to think about that. Think about the relationship that God has for us, that God has for us, that Jesus Christ died so that we could be free. Think about that pain. That's deeper than any pain that we'll ever go through in any relationship. And when I think about that now, it kind of, it did. And before we even came to Him, just doing our own thing or doing things that was destructive to our bodies, doing things that are destructive to our life or separate us from God, that hurts his heart. And so that's the most important relationship, the one we have with God. But think about that as you explore and get deeper into relationships or even sharpen the ones that you have. Communicate, respect the boundaries, know yourself, and do not let fear keep you from going forward. All right, this is Michael D. Frye. If you like this, I don't know which social media this on, like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. You can find me on Michael D. Frye on all social media platforms. And I hope you enjoy this. Let me know what you think. All right, bye.